going to, I just lost it, but I am going to read the affidavit of Bryan Kohberger's arrest. I'm not going to get into too much of the case right now. I don't want to go over all that. I just simply want to have this video. It's just reading the affidavit. May make some comments here and there of what I think or what I feel or whatever. There is a couple shocking parts to the affidavit if you haven't been paying attention and know what's going on. There were some things that kind of stunned me a little bit, so they may stun you as well. But I want to go ahead and read that for you guys. If you're interested, please hang out, stay with me, and please do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button and that subscribe button. And if you want to hear more of this affidavit, then please keep your panties on, because this is going to drive you insane. Drove me insane. Drove Robin insane. She didn't even hear about it. Okay, so anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go, it's a 19-page affidavit, by the way, so some of it, reading it, it might be easier if you follow along, if maybe you pull it up on your computer, follow along with me maybe, because some of it just might sound a little bit boring, I don't know, but I found the whole affidavit pretty interesting. If you're following the case, you probably will find it interesting as well. So this is actually Exhibit A, Statement of Brett Payne, and the information provided by Brett Payne, who is a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer within the County of Latah, State of Idaho. Brett Payne is employed by the Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. Corporal Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. So on November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I, meaning Brett Payne, so Sergeant Blaker and Brett Payne responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Police Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. So I don't know if you guys, if you're paying attention, you know what the apartment building looks like, or what the house looks like, whatever you want to call it. So they were on the bottom floor. That would be in the front when you're looking at it. Officer Smith and I walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room that it was Xana Kernodle's room. Just before this room there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway, and as I approached the room I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapman, who also was deceased with wounds later determined to have been caused by sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the 3rd floor of the residence. The 3rd floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves, hereafter Goncalves' room. I later learned from review of Officer Nunes' body camera there was a dog in the room where Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend Jack Decor. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th that he and Goncalves shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogen's, hereafter Mogen's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the 3rd floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in a single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had Kabar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. 2 of the interviews included BF and DM. Now, BF and DM are the other 2 roommates that were in the house that survived. Nothing happened to them. They were in their own rooms, and they weren't bothered at all. But there is a little bit of disturbing news with one of them, if you don't already know. So, based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12th, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Cigna Chai House on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perth Drive, approximately 9 o'clock p.m. on November 12th, 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence but was a guest of Kernodle's. Goncalves and Mogen were at a local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on a video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck. The Grub Truck live streams videos from their truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. This video was captured by law enforcement. A private party reported that Goncalves and Mogen are seen at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. Now, these times changed a little bit in later on, but the times are important. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement has identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her room on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. So that was the neighbor's camera, outside camera, that picked that up. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. Now, before I get any further, I want to make a comment here about the fact that DM thought she heard somebody in the house, or that there was somebody in the house, and thought she heard whimpering and crying. A lot of people are asking, why didn't she call 911 then? The girl was in shock. She was scared. She wasn't sure what she was hearing. So I'd really like for there not to be any backlash against her. I can't even imagine what she's going through, what she's living with right now, being one of the only survivors in the house, and thinking she may have heard what was going on. So I would just like things to be respectful towards her. If there's any comments that are made, please don't be rude and disrespectful. DM stated she opened her door for a third time after she heard the crying, and she saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. She described the figure as 5'10" or taller, a male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door, and DM locked her bedroom door after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male, and this leads investigators to believe that the murderer had left the scene. I'm sure she was scared shitless, not knowing what she had seen or what she had heard, or if she was imagining things or whatever. The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, a video of a suspect video as described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Very short window there. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoe sole just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. The video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th in the area of King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspects' vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvass resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from the residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, which is suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow, Idaho, approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. So, it was between the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow, and that just says 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. I think they're missing a part in there, but anyway, it was approximately 10 miles from the house where the kids were murdered that this vehicle was spotted. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensics examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensics examiner has approximately 35 years of law enforcement experience, with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensics examiner initially believed that the vehicle was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. However, upon further review, it's now indicated that it was between a 2011 and 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is 2011 to 2016. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra, was observed on the WSU surveillance cameras traveling north, southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. I have not pulled up a map to follow that. I don't know if you guys are going to do that or not. I know there's some that they have posted that shows a little bit in the direction of the way the suspect had been traveling back and forth. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards which connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. The camera footage was provided to the same FBI forensics examiner. The forensics examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to a 2016 Hyundai Elantra. So it was within that time, or between those years, that they had suspected that it was. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. The first cameras that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. Little girl, you keep pushing my head. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to the West Pullis River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed traveling north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on SR 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on camera traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street. On November 25th, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra in the area. On November 29th, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiango queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate of LFC 8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, who was residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201 in Pullman, Washington. That address is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, which was the last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. That same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for the white Hyundai Elantra and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman parking lot. The apartment complex that houses the students. Officer Whitman also ran the car, and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. He reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. So she in fact did come face to face with the killer. So she got super lucky. Either he got spooked and he took off, or she just got super lucky when she closed that bedroom door and locked it. Let's see. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke's body cam and reports, showed that on August 21st, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho, by Corporal Duke. At the time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with the Pennsylvania license plate, which was that Pennsylvania license plate was set to expire on November 30th. During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body cam, Kohberger provided his phone number, which we don't have the phone number. They have the last 4 digits, but we don't need that. On October 14th, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with that same Pennsylvania license plate. Now moving on to November 18th, which is almost an entire month later, according to Washington State licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plates, which are Washington plate CFB 8708, which is meaningless. We don't need that. But prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania, and based on his own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. And I know Pennsylvania does not require that because I am from Pennsylvania.
Get him, girl.
That's right. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Information was provided by a query to a database. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16th, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, which was learned through a TLO search and locate tool database query. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay at one point when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted on a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. So he actually made a survey that asked questions on how people felt, how they felt before they committed a crime, and how they felt during and after the crime. He is a sick individual. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to